It's really nice looking at my own place. Now, I wonder what's for dinner. Turkey burgers, frozen meatloaf, dumplings. I'll save that for a Chinese night. Main cuisines. Ah, perfect. Nice cheesy lasagna just for me. Wait. Ingredients. No, honey, thank you. If you see my reviews for the Poo Blood and Honey movies, you'll exactly know what I meant by that. Alright, time for some lasagna. Ooh. Oh wait, you know what? I should probably have salad to go with this. Alright, lasagna and salad time. Alright. Okay. What? My lasagna! What? Lecter! Oh, I can't stay mad at you. Oh. That's okay. I need more salad anyway. Hey guys, what is up? This is Matthew Davis, me once again. Welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. This time it is going to be on the Garfield movie. Just like the title suggests, this movie is the third attempt of bringing Garfield to the big screen. This time it's fully animated, and we see Garfield as a young kitten, how he was adopted by John, and years later, he's having the best time of his life. Though he started off as a kitten who was abandoned by his father, years later, he reunites with his father, who wants him to go with him on a heist in order to pay I don't know, they have to go on a heist to this milk farm, and they have to go get this certain amount of milk to this one cat woman who is, of course, the villain of the movie. Of course, when it was announced that Chris Pratt would be doing the role of Garfield, it pretty much came to the point that he was pretty much going to be the voice of every new adaptation of a popular franchise. And I am a fan of Garfield. I think the comic strips are classics. Anyways, in terms of the movies, I did watch the Bill Murray movies a lot when I was younger, but as I got older, they grew less and less on me. And yeah, I generally think they're pretty bad. And there were also CGI animated movies that were released straight to video that were also pretty terrible. But one thing I will admit, even though I do think this movie is better than all those movies, one thing I will admit, Bill Murray actually isn't bad as the voice of Garfield. He actually manages to be pretty convincing. And at least they got Frank Welker to do that animated films. As Chris Pratt, I feel like does tend to try a little bit, but it still mostly just sounds like Chris Pratt. I feel like when it came to the Lego movie, because Emmett was an original character, I feel like Chris Pratt managed to make a voice that would fit his character perfectly, and that was 6 months before he was best known for Guardians of the Galaxy. So yeah, his voice role in that movie was still very impressive, and is still phenomenal, and I still think that's his best voice acting role. I didn't think he was bad as Mario. It's just I kind of see why they made him out to be. They got someone who wasn't Italian or didn't know how to do an Italian accent right. Just I didn't mind him as Mario. Despite all that, I feel like Chris Pratt's voice is the least of the movie's problems. Like, this movie, I feel like suffers through quite a bit. I feel like it's just due to the fact that it really doesn't have the charm of the comic strip or even the old cartoon back in the day. Because one thing I was really disappointed to find out was the fact that John Arbuckle barely does anything in this movie. Like some mild spoilers, but when Garfield is out with his father, like this movie plays out with him having daddy issues, thinking that he was abandoned back then. But of course, once in a while they try to get you to connect with him and his father, who's named Vic, played by Samuel L. Jackson, who was solid enough in his voice role. But honestly, I would have preferred it if they just added, more of the characters that we knew from the comics. Like Arlene isn't in it, Nermal isn't in it. I mean, okay, technically, yes, Nermal is in the movie, but just for like 2 seconds, and that's pretty much it. Liz is in the movie as well, but she barely does anything. And like I mentioned before, John, he's only in the movie for like 15%, as we only see him once in a while where he's trying to call someone because his pets are missing. And I would have preferred it if they focused a lot more on that rather than just Garfield, dealing with how his father abandoned him, but trying to get you to connect. And while it does have heart to it, it's mostly in the right place. But sometimes when it comes to its humor, I feel like it just doesn't have much of the charm. I mean, basically, the biggest running gag throughout this entire thing is the fact that Garfield eats a lot. And basically, he's obsessed with food. Like, he gets massive portions of food online. And he does it in a very modern way. Just download from this app, and drones come over and brings him food. And it plays a major role in the movie. And I felt like it got really old really fast. And of course, there is the classic gag of how he hates Mondays, like, this is bad as a Monday or whatever. So yeah, they do try a little bit, but for the most part, I feel like what really ruins it is the storyline. I mean, sure, they have new characters like this ox called Otto, who is one of the mascots for this farm that they go to, and he wants his girlfriend back, but I would have just preferred it if this had more of the charm, and I didn't really connect a whole lot with some of these characters, even though some of the characters besides Chris Pratt do have some good voice acting behind them. Like Nicholas Hoult is pretty solid as John, and I really liked how John, despite the fact that Garfield eats all of his food, he still adopted him anyway. I would have really liked it if it connected more to how Garfield and his relationship with John was, and Odie as well, because I felt like that's what really connected the most to me with the comics, is that it was very relatable in how, it's basically portraying how a cat owner has a cat, but still, despite all the massive amounts of, chaos they get into, still caring for their cat. I would have preferred it if they had more of a story like that rather than just Garfield having a parent issue. I mean, back in the day, like, there was a 30-minute cartoon where Garfield did meet up with his mom, and I actually found that very endearing and very deep. I liked the connection with his mom a lot more because it wasn't like suffering through, her abandoning him, because that's not what happened. I felt like I connected more with that than I did with the storyline with this, because I felt like it's just taken from other films that have done it far better. So yeah, it really didn't have the charm that the comics had. And while the animation, some of the facial expressions do replicate from what some of the comics had, which okay, that's cool. And I honestly thought the most entertaining part of the movie was during the end credits when they showed a bunch of cat videos where you could like send in your cat videos and they would appear in the movie. That was by far the most entertaining part. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, not even Odie plays a big role. I mean, Odie's pretty much there because, well, Odie's an icon in the Garfield world. So I feel like he's just there just to tag along with Garfield because we need at least some of the other characters in the movie. So yeah, there's that. The Garfield movie really doesn't capture the spirit that the comics did. I feel like it's very lackluster, especially when it comes to the story that they're trying to tell. I feel like it's mostly there just because, it needs to be more than just about, a cat causing chaos in the house, eating all the time. And while eating does play a massive part in the movie, I felt like that just got really old. Like it happens throughout 10 minutes of the movie once it starts, and then it comes up once in a while. And also, I should mention there's quite a bit of product placement here and there. So I feel like some of it feels like an ad. I mean, you just saw in the sketch of me, making lasagna that Garfield was advertising. So yeah. Bottom line, I didn't think that this was a terrible movie. It's inoffensive for kids, but I feel like kids are gonna appreciate a lot more than parents or even older fans of the comics. It might be the best Garfield movie to be released on the big screen, but it's really not saying much. It's a film that I think is lazier than probably Garfield himself. It could have been a genuine surprise, just like the new Ninja Turtle movie was, but it there wasn't that many surprises here. I'm not sure how fans are going to feel about it. As a fan, I really wasn't much of a fan, but I did have some mild appreciations for what they tried to do in capturing a little bit of the spirit, but I just feel like the whole daddy issues thing just it wasn't needed at all and could have just been so much better had they made the story somewhat better. So, yeah, but anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you guys later. Word out.